With the release of Half-Life Alyx's developer commentary, I had an excuse to play through the entire game end to end again for the first time in a few months, with the added bonus of a deep dive of the game's production history from the voices of those who made the game possible. However, being as intimately familiar with this project as I am, and having been reporting on every detail of it for nearly 4 years, I was not expecting to hear much that I didn't already know. I was wrong. I learned a lot about my game of 2020, and today I want to go over the coolest stuff from that lot. This is everything important I learned from Half-Life Alyx's developer commentary right from the mouths of Valve. Here we go. It doesn't matter how hardcore of a Half-Life fan you may consider yourself. Valve has a history of cramming obscene levels of detail in the world that they crafted. Due to Half-Life Alyx coming to a platform where detail makes or breaks the experience, the dev team went above and beyond on this front. The developer commentary discusses some tidbits of the deep lore hidden throughout the world without actually drawing attention to it directly within gameplay, including
the power of the Combine is embodied in their indifference towards humanity. They've conquered Earth with little effort and are now plundering it for their own ends. They put a modicum of effort into their propaganda, but it's ultimately uncaring. Later in Half-Life 2, we see Breen's attempts to talk to humanity with more seriousness, but it's unclear whether that directive comes from the Combine or if it's just Breen's attempts to be useful to them.
The player doesn't know it at this point, but this substation is designed to essentially torture the song out of a group of Vortugants who are housed in the attached pod farms. The output is collected from the Vortugants before being reharmonized by a single conductor Vortugant via the cable tuner apparatus seen at the root of the transmission cables that run up to the vault itself.
While in the hotel, the player does not have line of sight to the substation, so we repeat this sonic pattern at varying volumes within the hotel, as a reminder of both the Combine substation and the vault outside. In fact, if you look closely at the Zen foliage when you are in the hotel, you will notice that it reacts visibly to the overspill of Vortugant energy as it flows from the substation.
The person who lived here was referred to internally as the Combine Killer, imagined as a person with a grudge against the Combine who has chosen to eke out a living in the quarantine zone, spending their time exacting revenge on unsuspecting Combine patrols, perhaps eventually joining the organized resistance movement portrayed in Half-Life 2.
Something we love here on Valve News Network is what wasn't. Cut content, beta, alpha, lost levels, whatever you want to call it. I love learning what a production team needed to do before creating the final experience, and all the features, characters, settings, plot threads, and random details they had to cut before shipping for any number of reasons. While Half-Life Alyx likely has one of the longest production stories and laundry list of cut content in the entire games industry, the developer commentary just barely graces the surface of the big picture, and gives us a few neat tidbits, including,
at one point, we experimented with building special puzzles out of breakable glass, but in the end, we found the glass to be more appropriate as a passive interactive element in the world.
This tanker yard, which we had originally built for a narrative scene that was cut from the game, had the properties we were looking for.
Then you have information on why the development team made the decisions that they did. Why were specific areas of the game created? Why were items added? What series of specific events just happens to occur that led us to this product today?
During the development of Half-Life Alyx, the Counter-Strike team added health injectors into CSGO as part of the new Danger Zone game mode they were developing. When we saw this, we felt that an injector would work well as an intuitive healing item in VR as well.
This entire section of the map, from the start of the keycard puzzle up to this room, was added specifically to show the player the vault on its own. Without this little detour, players would otherwise have their first view of the vault at the entrance to the Northern Star Hotel, which was also when they would see their first Combine substation.
We began prototyping with a fast Headcrab variant we called the Runner, modifying its behavior to run away and hide from the player after it attacked. We found players really enjoyed looking for a small, hidden enemy they knew was somewhere within a dense environment. They also liked shooting at a fast-moving enemy that was able to run under and behind everyday objects like tables and chairs.
In our initial Reviver prototypes, we simply used a blue-tinted Headcrab model with rudimentary electrical effects.
And here's the deal. This is actually a prototype for a much larger documentary. If you like this format, if you like the idea of using Valve's own developer commentary with my own brand of visual production, let me know. I'm working on a series called In Valve's Own Words that you may really like. If you want to keep up with all of the news that I'm interested in real time, check out my Twitter page at Valve News Network. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon, and I also sell merch. You see all of that right below this video. I appreciate it if you can support it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.